Hello YouTube viewers. Today I'm going to dissect this ASUS G73 series to see if I can try to improve the cooling of the GPU, CPU. It's overheating and shutting self down. Setting it on a laptop cooler does work, but I'd like to just kind of clean it out. I think we've got some probably dog hair in there and such. It just hasn't been cleaned out. I have another video where I do some hard drive swaps and RAM, but that's pretty easy. This is going to be more detailed tearing into it. Looks like I have some sunlight coming in from the window. Hopefully that isn't distracting. Hopefully it lets you see better, not worse. But I'm sure it'll pass over the course of the video. So first things first, we just remove the hard drive and WLAN wireless network card cover, and also RAM under here. It's just 2 screws. Obviously when you disassemble things you want to make sure you know exactly which screw goes where. Good way to do that is to take a picture of the whole thing, and then as you're taking screws out, put them on the picture over the holes that they went in originally. That's usually a pretty good technique. So first things first, we remove this. Before we do anything also, we want to get the battery out of there. Get myself grounded to the pad that I'm going to set the RAM and stuff on. Move your RAM. Remove your hard drives, which are just 2 screws. Well, 2 screws on this one, on the one that would come default and is probably in most of yours. But on mine, I added an additional hard drive and didn't have the additional hard drive kit because it's like 30 bucks and there's really no need. I ended up using some foam ear plugs, and I've got the add-on hard drive video where I show how I did that. That's what these are. Remove your hard drives. Okay. Then this screw right here, allows the CD-ROM drive or DVD-ROM drive or Blu-ray ROM drive, whichever you have, to be released. So we are going to get that out of here. Putting things where I know where they will be. But I believe this could release from just that screw. Yep, sure enough. Okay, we've removed our drives. If you wanted to replace your wireless LAN controller or upgrade it or whatever, that is right here. This is already 802.11n, but I'm not sure if it would take like an 802.11.AC or anything newer that you may want to upgrade it to at some point. So at this point I've removed both drives, the RAM and the optical drive. Next I'm going to remove the keyboard. Keyboard is, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these little tabs that we need to pop out here. Now this is, there's room for error here. There's actually a keyboard frame that goes in between all these keys. It's this whole area in here. It's like a membrane that separates all the keys. That can actually be ripped out in between the keys, but that's not good. You don't have to do it. You want that to stay intact, which is why you see me more like here. It's starting to peel away. You don't want that. You want to get under it and get this keyboard itself, which is why I took my time there. There we go. And on mine, it's kind of adhered. I'll show you what I mean. If you hear that tape, I don't know if yours will be like that, but this was adhered to this metal. So again, keyboard was removed, but this little separation plastic, I don't know if you can see, that could come away from the keyboard. You don't need to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to remove with this keyboard. So we have two little ZIF connectors to remove. If you don't know how to pop out ZIF connectors, then check out a different video, or maybe this isn't the type of work for you, but you pop up little locking slides, and then you remove the ribbons. Okay, so the keyboard's released. I believe this connector is for the keyboard itself, and I think this is for the lighting module because it's a backlit keyboard. Okay, that's gone. And next we want to remove this whole back piece here, and we're going to remove this whole display. So we're just going to start taking screws out. Don't forget where they go. You cannot count on them all being the same and just having a pile of screws. In fact, you can count on the fact that they're not going to be all the same. So don't do that. Okay, I think it makes more sense like this. Just the machine's angled toward the camera better that way. Okay. I don't know, I'd rather have it angled towards me so I can see. And the reason that you had to take out these hard drives is because there are some screws hidden here, under where the hard drives were. So you don't want to forget about those. Oh yeah, and along those same lines, why you had to remove the CD-ROM drive, same thing. Got a couple of Phillips screws right here. It's worth mentioning these are all Phillips screws. No need to have Torx. Although to get some of these deeper ones, you might want a longer bit. I have this old school compact screwdriver that I had back when I was a compact ACE certified technician, for those old school computer guys out there. Okay, so it's nice, it actually has a longer Phillips bit. So it can get into some of these deeper holes here. They're not exceptionally long screws in comparison to the others, they're the same. It's just that the cavity you need to be able to get into is deeper. Compaq was a good company. Strange that HP survived and Compaq didn't. I wonder if that's as a testament to HP's storied history in printers that kept them afloat. They had very similar business models and product lines when it came to desktops, laptops. Also pricing and you know, having consumer lines and professional lines and workstations and I don't know, probably get into some business management and some strategic deals that didn't go well for them, or who knows what. Let me know in the comments if you know. I went to, took a business trip to Minneapolis to train on the Compaq platform when I got certified. Oh, got a Compaq little flathead here as well. Okay, I think that I've removed them all from back here, everything that I need to. Just reviewing. Now I'm going to remove these three as well. This is holding this PCB down into this plastic. And the plastic is what I'm trying to detach from. So I'm not sure if this is necessary to get where we need to get, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, setting everything so I know exactly where it is. Hey, I think I have everything off from the back. Just gonna review. I see our sunlight has passed. Hopefully that wasn't distracting. Okay. Cool. Actually, we want to pop this back piece off. Bang. Back piece just pops off once you get the, what released it were the screws under the battery compartment right here and right here. Oops, right here and right here. Although it doesn't really matter. Let you know that. I'm going to remove the display. There are 6 screws, 3 on each side on these hinges that hold the hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get these bad boys out. Sorry for the delay here. I'm carefully putting them on a map. There's one more over here, but I don't want it to, well, I guess it would torque this way. I want to kind of remove pressure evenly. It's always good to apply and remove pressure evenly. So I always screw things down in diagonals and remove things in diagonals if there's any, especially if it's sensitive stuff that you don't want to twist. Okay, so all 3 are removed from this right side. And then, like I said, I still have the one remaining on the left. That should just this lift off? Cool, it does. But I cannot get under there to, can't get under there to disconnect it. I don't want to remove the two pieces entirely because, as you can see, these wiring are still trapped under here. I really want to get this gone. So they make cool like case crackers that, let me push this back so it's all in the frame. Maybe I can zoom out a bit. Hey, how about that? So we can see. Moving stuff around here to make room on the table. They make case crackers where you can dig in here and pop this off without scratching anything. You kind of want to avoid using, like a flathead screwdriver you could gouge up pretty easily. You don't want to do that. I think I can remove this frame without these, or maybe it's part of the same unit. Doesn't hurt to remove more. Doesn't hurt to remove more than you need, but you just need to know how to put things back. Not to be a broken record on that. And then I think the last two screws that we need to remove are here and here to be able to remove this panel. We will find out. We shall. Hey, that feels pretty nice and loose. Oh, missed one. Whoops, it fell under there. Gotta love the magnetized screwdriver. You know, you guys are out there thinking, hey, you shouldn't use magnetized stuff with hard drives. But as long as you don't get them too close and they're not crazy magnetized, then it's fine. Hey, maybe that's why Compaq went out of business. They were producing magnetized screwdrivers and they lost people's data. Hey, what is hanging on? Got it. So what's hanging on are these two ZIF connectors. Again, the ZIF connectors, if you're not familiar with these, probably not the project for you to start on. Try not to, I hope my head doesn't block us out. Here, here, and here. Oh, these are flip gate ones where you have to flip them up like that. There we go. That should allow this to come off, which is great. And are we still being hung on? Just by some tape. Okay. I believe, oh, one last one. And this is actually being shown right here. This one just pulls straight out. I don't want to use my nails, it looks kind of sensitive. I want to be able to make sure I'm grabbing the piece I need to pull out instead of the wires. There. Yay. It's out of here. Bang. Zoom back out. Okay. Out of here. Okay. Now is where the getting gets good. What I'm very interested in doing is cleaning these fans out and these heat sinks. I think that's where we're overheating, is probably on the graphics, not on the CPU. This looks like they're heat sinking against. Wow, okay, so this is pretty crazy. They're using, to cool this chip, they're using this whole metal piece. This is thermal compound and adhesive that was stuck to here. So when I reassemble this, I'm going to put a little drop of thermal compound either here or here, and I need to take this pad off and clean it out. Very interesting, ASUS. Very interesting. Yeah, that's going to be gooey and fun. So let's get this off. I have some rubbing alcohol too. I'm just digging all this out because I know I'm going to replace it. I'm going to wipe it off. You can't just start digging with your nails because there are sensitive components here that you could crack off of the chip. Do not want to do that. Instead, you need to carefully wipe away what you can and then use rubbing alcohol for the rest. And I'm talking like not getting it really wet, just dabbing it and then using a dry section. Don't just rub a bunch of rubbing, you know, don't saturate the thing with rubbing alcohol. Just get a little bit on there, enough to give you some slip when you with paper towel. Or actually, I have some cotton pads that might work pretty well. But your goal here is to remove the old compound because it's not going to be good anymore. And you can see that this is working pretty well. I'm going to get rid of the old compound, and don't let me forget. Oh, that's not how this works. This isn't Ustream or something. Don't let me forget to add that rubbing compound before I put it on. Okay, cool. Got that cleaned up. Looks nice and clean. No more rubbing compound, at least on the top of it where I want to put the new stuff. I want to put a new bit right there when I reassemble it. Okay. Now I want to take these fans out and vac them. I could probably vac them where they are now, but I don't know. Let's dig into it. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. That's where our display is plugged in. The other display connector is on the bottom side. Bear with me while I examine this. The first time I've been into this. Yeah, I can take the fans out, vac them out. Cool. I think I can get around that. Alright, let's do it. I'm going to disconnect the fan, disconnect this fan, and oh, that screw is not sticking to my magnetic screwdriver. Okay. Start a different pile for fan screws. Wondering if it is just these two screws. Fan screws there. Let's see, are we free? No, another fan screw. Another fan screw down in this corner. So it appears to be, there appears to be 3 screws for each of these fans. And that's not fun. They dropped a screw in there, but gotta love it with the magnetized screwdriver. Okay. That is exactly what I wanted to happen. I'm gonna vac the heck out of that thing. And in fact, I'm gonna do that and reassemble this one before I move on to this one, so there's no confusion over screws or which fan goes where. There shouldn't be, but just be safe. More important than the fans be collecting dust, there is a layer of dust where this fan is blowing air through these heat sinks, and that is what I need to get out of here. So I'm going to be picking this out. Hopefully I can get it out in a piece to show you. If not, I'm just going to vac it. But check this out. Big bunches of dust. Where can I set these? Here we go. I'm gonna go get some brushes. Like little paint brushes are awesome for this. So, bear with me, I'm gonna pause. Alright, I am back with brushes. So, I need to use the brushes to dig out this heat sink. And one thing I noticed too down here is that, I don't know if you can see this well, but these black pieces of plastic here are supposed to be connecting this heat sink to the fan, so it's seamless and they're connected. This is hilarious, total ASUS fail. There is 3M adhesive backing that they forgot to pull off, so it wasn't being adhered on this side. So after I clean this out, when I reassemble it, I'm gonna take this backing off and seal it. They did it right on this side, but that's pretty funny. All right, so again, I'm going to use this paintbrush to dig out this heat sink while I vac it out. Get this all cleaned out. Sweet. And our goal, one of our goals, is to re-adhere these heat sinks to the GPU, CPU, which is going to be on the bottom of this motherboard. So I'm going to have to take this motherboard out as well. But one thing at a time. I think I'll replace this fan first. And this time I will actually adhere it like they should have done at the factory. So that's clean. That one's cleaned out. I'm not going to yank that backing and adhere it right now, just in case for some reason I need to do it as part of removing this motherboard. So here's a motherboard. These are, although they go in the display, they're not part of the display. They're actually connected to the WLAN controller card on the other side. So that means the antenna goes up into the display somehow. It's not no big mystery, but the antenna goes up into the display to give you better reception than just if the WLAN controller didn't have an antenna inside. So I'm going to take the motherboard out. That one doesn't, these two do not need to happen. Only, we just need to remove these couple more zip connectors there. This one is just a push on, so this, I believe, just pops straight up. No, I don't know. I'm not gonna mess with that one. Sorry, I can't explain that one. This one here is the actual connection for the display, and that one is one that I thought this was, that you just pop up. And in fact, this one maybe it didn't go easily, and I can still accomplish my goal of flipping this forward and getting to it without disconnecting this, because I'm not certain, because I'm not certain, I'm not gonna do it. Do not want to risk ripping something off of the motherboard that I don't know how to put back. So, here's a display connector up here that just pulls off. I don't want to pull on the wires, I'm going to pull on the actual male connector part there. And there's a screw right next to it that definitely needs to come out. Start a new section on my table here for motherboard screws. Motherboard screws. 2. 3. And I am putting them in the proper shape. Like that one, this one right here that I just got was smaller than the other two. That's why you've got to be careful. And make sure that you're putting them in their own little spots. There, motherboard, motherboard. Checking text message, sorry, rude. Okay, good. Some notification from eBay, who cares? Okay. On the motherboard screws, that's going to be a shorty too. Indeed, indeed. Put that with the other shorty. These two don't need to go. That leaves us with this. And we got to be close. That's just this VGA connector on the side. Uh-oh, this is going to be the same type of deal as this one, I believe. It is. So I am not sure if this is the same as this. I guess you guys are going to see me potentially break something. Not sure if it pulls straight out, up, or out at an angle, or what. But the key here is not to force anything. But full disclosure, I do not know what I'm doing with this connector. Okay, believe I understand. It pulls out this way, so this one must pull down. They don't pull up like this one does. No, it's not a button. Yes, okay. So just go like that. Cool. So these two connections are unlike any other one that we've seen on this board. They pull out like that. Great. Are we loose? I think so. I think it's just a matter of being clipped in here. Here's another little connector we got to take out. Again, instead of pulling on this wire, I want to pull on this male part, the plug itself. Just like disconnecting from an AC wall outlet when you have a plug. Don't yank it by the wire. Grab it by the plug. There. Should be able to get her close here. Unfortunately not. Did I miss something on the bottom? I think so. I don't want to pull too hard. There's this screw here, but it doesn't look like that now. That's not inhibiting me. I think there's still no, it is free. It's just that it's I see. It's just that it's bonded with these heatsink pipes. So might need to come out with these fans out. That's what I'm going for now. I'm actually going to disconnect this fan, which is going to be able to give me some more clearance. Those are just push-on connectors from the WLAN controller. Hopefully you guys can figure out, they're just dots that push on and off. And I'm going to remove these fans, because I think that these actual heat sinks that are connected in these cooling pipes want to come with the motherboard, and that would make sense. Okay. Good thing I didn't peel off that adhesive. 2, back to 3. Same on this side, and I haven't cleaned this side out yet. So, see how this is stuck to the heatsink, unlike the other one? That's how it's supposed to be. And I'm going to have to peel that off. Cool. I'm going to clean off all this heatsink and all this fan like I did on the last one. And then this allows our board to go free because it was connected to these heatsinks here that couldn't move. So I will clean this out with my little brush and vacuum. There's a huge layer of dust on this heatsink, just like there was on this side. Now I'm hoping we have better luck removing this motherboard. Yes, that is exactly what the case was. See how this wants to move? Yep, perfect. And it has to go out at an angle this way because we have these side ports. Beautiful. Here you have the motherboard of the G73 series. And the next project we're going to tackle, very important, whole point of the video really, well, very important piece of the video is, oh, now you can see this 3M tape pretty well. I'm trying to just touch the edges. You don't want oils from your fingers, any type of moisture or anything to get on here, obviously, to short circuit things. I have my grounding strip. I'm staying grounded. Zoom out here a little bit. See the 3M tape that wasn't adhered? They're still back. You can't see. I don't know. Still backing on it. Okay. So next step is, I think I want to remove all this from my work area and just work on this flat on the mat. And what I want to do is remove this. I'm guessing this is, I don't know which one of these is GPU and which one of these is CPU. Sorry that I don't know, but I'm going to remove these, clean them, and put on new thermal compound. Pretty darn sure that this is CPU here and this is GPU over here. Great. So I am going to want to set this safely here. I want to remove this from my work area for now. Great. Okay. Okay, this is going to be great. Remove these 4 screws, take the heatsink off, clean off the thermal compound, re-thermal compound it with Arctic Silver 5. Most people use too much thermal compound, or many people use too much thermal compound. I'm going to release the pressure on the corners in order. This yellow here says warranty void if the sticker's removed. I think that's pretty obvious that if you're tearing your laptop apart, especially one of this vintage, I think this thing is at least 2 years old, it's not still under warranty. You wouldn't be doing this if it were. You would say, hey ASUS, this thing's overheating, fix it. Okay. 4 screws. Old thermal compound, old thermal compound. Going to clean this off and clean this off with the paper towel and rubbing alcohol. In fact, I'm kind of a fan of these cotton pads instead of cotton balls. And cosmetics, a lot of times they use cotton pads. They work pretty well for this type of thing. The only thing you got to watch for is there's sometimes the fiber breaks off of them. So you just be careful with it, and they work pretty well. I'm going to pause this and go grab some. Okay, I got some of those cotton pads that I was talking about. And like I said, the caution with these is that one side of them especially, it has way more fibers and cotton kind of lint that can come off on your devices. But this other side that has little nipples on it is less prone to that and a little more firm. It's pretty nice for ripping off this old thermal compound. So I'm just going to use rubbing alcohol, if I have to, paper towels, but probably just these little cotton pads to get the old gray thermal compound off before I replace it with new stuff. And it is bad. It is hard as a rock. This is not good stuff. So, good thing I went the extra mile. I probably could have just cleaned out those radiator fins and those fans, and just the overall dog hair and dust, and probably improved it. But seeing how rock hard and crappy this old thermal compound is, to take the extra step of pulling the motherboard out and flipping it over to actually do this is going to make it, I think, more of a difference than those other steps combined. I think it's strange that it has this plastic film on it. I think it should be removed. I think this may be another ASUS fail. If it's a me fail, call me out in the comments. Okay, I see. So they just have this on here to protect the other parts of the PCB that's part of the chip, while still keeping this face of it exposed. So it is fine that they have that there. At first I thought it was over the die on the top of this chip, but it's not. The top of the chip is exposed, so it will make a good bond with the thermal compound, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. And that looks perfect. Ready to rock. Now if I could get this other side, the copper side, looking that good, we'll be golden. Probably good enough, but while we're in here, I might as well make it perfect. So in the camera, that should look like a mirror. Zoom in on it. Right there. Should be nice and clean. Looks like it's a little bit wet still from the alcohol, but that'll absorb off here in a second. Before I do anything, it's got to be dry. This copper side is as good as I'm going to get it. It is not perfect, but it's super, super clean. It's just a color remnants there. It's just cosmetic. So now I have two super clean connections where I can put on my new thermal compound and screw it down like that. And we're good to go. Let's thermal compound it. Like I said, many people use too much thermal compound. Really all you need, it's kind of a bigger die, but all you need is a tiny bit of some good stuff. This is Arctic Silver 5, which is a proven product. And you want that compression to happen evenly. Go. So I'm going to keep my finger in the center there to keep even pressure while I screw this back down. These little wings are actually labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm putting the screws in the order that it's prescribing, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's just a testament to what I mentioned before, where when you're applying or removing pressure on sensitive components, ones that are could be susceptible to banding or twisting in any way, you want to try to bring pressure down evenly. Do diagonals. Like this is labeled number 2 for a reason. You want to do diagonals. And I'm not going to crank any of them down until I get even force across all 4 points. I've been watching a lot of How It's Made Dream Cars on the Science Channel, and you see, I think there's an advantage to robots making a lot of these cars. When you see like say a Chevy, a GM plant making a Corvette, and machines will come down and bolt all 4 bolts at the exact same time at the exact same torque. That's awesome. That's even pressure, and only a robot can do that. I don't have 8 hands, you know, one to hold each and then another one to drive each all at the same time. When you watch more boutique type car manufacturers building their cars without those robots, they're not afforded that luxury. They're doing one at a time, corner to corner, and I don't know, when you're paying $1 million for a car that's hand built, I think in many ways the factory built one is better, especially on this subject when it comes to that twisting and banding and applying even pressure and stuff. Okay, so you can see I'm doing all 4 corners just a little bit at a time. You want these to be tightened all the way down without stripping them, of course, or over tightening them. It's important that they're tight. So that's making a good seal there with the thermal compound. And I think that I've done that. Do these last 2 a couple more times. Yeah, awesome. Those are very tight. Okay, I believe that was the CPU side. I didn't read the chip when I had it off. I should have. So I believe this is the GPU side. And I believe it's just going to be these 4 screws, and they are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, again in diagonals. 1. Much different screws than the CPU had. 1. I think the screws stay in that heatsink bracket actually. So they just need to be loosened all the way. They won't actually remove. They're fixed. 3. And 4. This is the graphics subsystem that makes a gaming laptop a gaming laptop. That still feels pretty firm on there. You do not want to force it off. I'm trying to find out what I'm missing. If I do not get it to release, I am not going to force it. I'm not going to. Okay, here's what I think is happening. I would have to remove these 2 Phillips screws. This whole card is going to slide out of this slot. So this PCB here is a daughter board, part of this motherboard. It's the whole graphics subsystem. This essentially is the video card that's plugged into this slot. And I don't know, Ty, should I take it out?
What?
Should I take this video card out of the motherboard, flip it over, remove this heatsink, and tear into it and do the GPU, or should I just call it good?
Call good.
I don't know, I'm already in here.
Then do it.
Alright, I'm doing it. Doing it. Throw caution to the wind. So, these screws come out. This daughter board, the video card essentially, slides out of this slot on the motherboard. How cool is that? That is what a laptop video card looks like. Awesome. But I do not see screws on the bottom that are requiring that to be removed to get this off. So I think that's riveted on, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. It looks like there is a rivet of some sort right here, and a rivet of some sort right here. So this is not going to come off. Wait a minute, is it? Nope, not easy enough to make. Wait a minute. Stop the presses. It was just adhesive. We're in there. Look at that video card.
That looks like a crappy video card. Seriously.
Says the guy with the GTX 790 or 970.
970.
Yeah, way better than this. You're absolutely right. Okay.
It looks like a floppy disk.
It definitely does not compete to a 2014 top of the line GPU, but it's a laptop with a separate GPU, so that's saying something. A separate
That's
video card. I guess all laptops have a GPU, but this actually has a full video card. Cool.
I've seen people game on much less.
All right, so same story here. I'm going to remove the old thermal compound and install new. What was holding me back, the reason that I was that wasn't coming off easily, was this adhesive. And that's sticky. I'm going to leave that. That's just to hold everything down. It's not making the bond of the thermal compound or anything, so it's not completely imperative. So it's not imperative that it be sticky, because these 4 screws are what bind it down to the thermal compound. That's, I'm saying that just to say why I'm not replacing this strip with something that's more sticky. I don't feel the need to. That's just to keep everything kind of tight in the assembly. And this is an ATI video card. I do not have a monocle, so I can't tell you what that chip says right now. Off with the old. Is this video getting dark? I don't have the natural sunlight coming in anymore. Hopefully it's not. Starting to get late. It is 8:16 Eastern Standard Time in late March, so the days are starting to get a little bit longer here at the 45th parallel. Halfway between the equator and the North Pole is where I'm sitting. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. I am going to go get more light because I think that camera's having a hard time focusing. Okay, I hope that's helpful. A little bit brighter. Hopefully it's able to focus. Oh yeah, I think that's doing an awesome job. You can probably even see it says ATI on it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Anyways. Let's put some fresh thermal compound on and put this bad boy back together. Very small amount. And I already secured this video card back into the motherboard, I believe. Some dust here I'm going to peel off from this adhesive. And this is very important again with the even application of pressure. Sorry for the delay, I want to make sure it comes down in the perfect spot. I think I nailed it. Not sure if that's biting or not. It is, hooray. Same story, right? Even pressure. Getting him to bite and walking through the 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. A little bit tighter, a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. Just that little pop didn't bother me. It didn't feel like anything cracked. Just must have been a flex somewhere. I'm assuming that the camera picked that up. Great. Now we have new thermal compound applied everywhere. Dust cleaned out of the heat sinks, and all of this is left is to reassemble. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but if you kept track of which screws go where, shouldn't be that big of a deal. Great, let's get to it. So many things need to plug back into this. I need to make sure that I'm not covering any of them up when I put this back into place. Need to get this VGA port into the hole on the end. And it's actually putting a lot of stress on this power cord because it's hitting this post. So you need to be careful. It's going to be a little bit of a twist game. There we go. Just got to finesse that in there. And there are many other things that are under here, like this. Need to be on top. And this. And this. And this. And don't forget about that WLAN cable, which antenna cables, which remember need to go through this hole and connect to the wireless LAN on the other side. we don't need to worry about that necessarily right now. We also have dusty. Okay. Just want to make sure before I screw this down that there's nothing left behind there. Last chance. Okay, I hope that's it. That is not one. They have conveniently put an S with a circle around it next to these three that you had to put a screw in. Here, here, and here, the three that I just did. To know that now is the time for that. Then, remember these little guys that go here. These are not labeled with an S on the board, but right here. And right here. Great. Okay. Hook all this stuff back in. That in there firmly. It is, it is. Okay, that is very awesome. Our wireless LAN cable antennas needed to go here, if I remember right. Yep. Great. And okay. Just making sure everything looks connected. Remember, before I put that back, I need to heat sink this section right here. Some rubbing alcohol. So this needs to be bonded with thermal compound, believe it or not, because they're using this as a heat sink on the back of this panel. Wouldn't it be more smart before I put that on though to get our fans put back in place? That would have been a fail on my part. Ah, that's why. It's upside down. Tight, tight, tight. I think I might have just found, where's that cable going? Okay, good, I did get that one, that's here. Our main display is here. Just concerned about this guy here, what was that? Oh yeah, the fan connector, good. I'll be there in a second. And, unlike ASUS, I'll remove this 3M tape and bond these two together, like it should have been from the factory. How funny. There. Great. Next, this fan. Whoops. No harm done, it just hit this plastic. Getting a little fatigued. It's almost 8:45 and I haven't eaten anything. Make sure that fan is tight. Make sure our fans are plugged in, more importantly. It's all legit, sweet. Now that has dried, let's jump some fuzz on there. Okay, should be dry. Touch a thermal compound. And want to be absolutely certain we didn't miss anything. Okay. Good, I didn't touch it yet. Great. I like how this looks. Pushing all the edges to snap it all together. And we have this little connector to connect right here. Make sure that is in firmly. It is. It is. Put this little connector in. Same thing here. Great. And that only leaves this connector and this connector for the keyboard. So now we'll take our 6 screws and put this heatsink back down. Excuse me. I guess I'm a little bit crazy on the diagonals, aren't I? Great. Make sure all 6 are tight. So if you were doing a keyboard replacement, that'd be pretty darn simple. You wouldn't have to get anywhere past this part that I'm at now. So let's do our hinges next. Great. And for our hinges we had three on each side. Three on each side, cool. And then, before I put this piece on, like this, I have another screw right here and right here that need to go. So the screws that are supposed to go here and here, for this top panel to be down, I accidentally put here and here. So you really only do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 do not go down here as I originally did. They go like, they go here, perfect, and here. That's better. Awesome. Cool. Then, that one still's got another turn in it. Alright. We can put our back plate on. Make sure nothing's getting pinched. Nice. Awesome. Very cool. Then we're back onto the back. And we can do these. I guess we can do all of these back ones. This is a whole bunch. I will zoom in. Okay. Let's do it. Most but not all of these are the same size. The exceptions, the ones that are not the same size, are extra short, and they are the ones that go here, 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 and here. The rest I believe to be the same size. Even these ones on the inside of the 2.5 inch hard drive enclosures are the same size. These were the 3 that I didn't know if I had to take out, and I was like, no harm in taking out more as long as you know where they go back. Here's our GPU heatsink that we just recompounded. Can't wait to put this machine to the test now. Should not be overheating on me anymore. And then we had to disconnect the WLAN antenna to get the motherboard off, if you remember. Before we pulled the motherboard out and did the heat sinks on the back of the motherboard, we had to take these off. These are just snap-ons. They just snap right on, like buttons. Like no problem. It should be no problem. Of course I have to say that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Make sure everything feels nice and tight. I'm just gonna go through all of them again. Nice. All set there. Okay, time to replace our keyboard. Keyboard has two connectors. One that goes here, and one that goes here. I'm trying to have it so the camera can see, but unfortunately I need to put my hand in front of it to get that in there. Sorry again for the lack of visibility. There, I think I can show it to you that way. I have that side already clicked in, but I'll open it. So get that pushed in. There, all the way. Then push your little ears in. Perfect. It's in there nice and tight. Same thing over here. Open. This one's going to be pretty impossible for me to show on screen, but it's the same thing. That was for illumination. Great. Then, keyboard just bottom side in first. Top side in second. Awesome. That keyboard is in there. Nice. All that's left are drives, our battery, our RAM, and the cover. So essentially just these final peripherals. Hopefully you know how to install SODIMMs. Great. Then hard drives, I'm going to get some new earplugs. And if you're wondering why earplugs, you can check out my other video. I think this one was in this other driveway though. So that's our storage hard drive, the one that came with it. But what we used for the OS was an SSD that I upgraded. And I didn't want to buy this carriage connector. So all I do is push it in here and then I just jam some earplugs or whatever in here. And then I put a couple on top to mash down the top. Get this thing centered. And let me see if I have some earplugs right here. Okay, so just gonna put some earplugs in here, jam those in there so that this disc can't come out of its slot. No need to have it screwed down. I mean, this is a it's an SSD, there's no moving parts. But I do throw a couple on top, just for good measure. I'll put in a CD-ROM drive. That just goes in and screws into place right here. And finally, the last step. Oops, this needs to go in these tabs first. There. And that is the end of my assembly, disassembly, pretty much removing every component if you needed to replace or upgrade anything. I did it because of the overheating issue, but really there are a number of reasons why you may want to dissect the G73 Series ASUS Republic of Gamers laptop. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, give me a thumbs up. If not, I don't know. Tell me what I could have done differently. Thanks a lot, everybody.